Hi, I got a couple of Evos Vitess lock, or they're German, maybe they're called Vitess, feet. I got two of them, one that I have got it and one that I haven't. And I want to show you some things about these locks. Let's bring you in a little closer. These are the security pins down here, springs and key pins. And this is pin number 1 over here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the screws on the back side and extra little thing there and more things. These security pins, here we have normal spool and standard and a standard and a spool. So we have spool number 2 and number 4. Number 5 and 6 are these weird pins. So when we pick it, we're gonna get into a false set. Then we're gonna pick the 2 spools. They will give counter rotation, and when we have picked everything, then the lock is gonna be stuck on the narrow end of these pins here, and all we have to do is bump them out of the way, and the lock will be open. These 2 weird pins back here in chamber number 5 and number 6 have a diameter of 3.11 millimeters, and the rest of the security pins have a diameter of 3.02 millimeters, which means these 2 are going to be the first binders. The key pins are more or less standard key pins, except for the one in chamber number 1. It has this, when you look at it first, it looks like you can overset it and it will be hanging up on this part. That is not the case. They're meant to fit into this hook-like structure on the key, and it's some kind of copy prevention or unauthorized key manufacturing prevention or something like that. It also means, I'm guessing, it also means that pin number 1 will always have the same length, because you cannot, with a standard key copying machine, you cannot cut into this key underneath this little hook. So unless you have a very special key copying machine, pin number 1 is going to have the same length all the time. Let's see if I can show you. You can see the, maybe you could just see this little hook grabbing onto pin number 1 in there. Can you? I don't know. More light. Anyway, that's what's happening. The rest of the key pins are normal key pins. Then we have this little weird thing. It is fitting into the plug down here at the end. The key has a small ramp at the end, so when you put the key in, it will push this. Yeah, there you go. It will push this up flush with the rest of the plug, so you can turn the plug all the way. If you don't have the key, and when you pick it, then you turn the plug, and this lines up with the last chamber, and you turn the plug, and the security pin in the last chamber will plunge into this, and the plug will be stuck. You can, if you have a small half diamond, you can put it in right here, and then you can push this out of the way and turn the plug. I will show you that when we pick the lock. The last thing we have are these two anti-drill. Oops. Stay here. Okay, go away then. These two anti-drill pins, they just fit into these two holes. They have no consequence for picking the lock. The last feature this plug has are these 4 holes here. I'm guessing there's a model of this lock that has some kind of side pins. I wish I had one. Maybe that would be more interesting to pick than this one. Yeah, that's it. By the way, this little pin that prevents you from turning the lock all the way when you have picked it, it's not spring loaded. So when you pick it, it protrudes into the keyway, of course. But since it's not spring loaded, it's not a problem. You can just wiggle it out of the way with the pick, and it doesn't prevent you from picking it at all. So for picking this lock, you need bottom of the keyway tension, because you can't get a pry bar into this weird keyway. So you put your wrench in here, and now we know that these two, the last pins down here, are going to be the first binders. So we just take my favorite half diamond and rake a little bit on it, and it should fall in pretty easily into a false set. There you go, that's a false set right there. And then because this is a so-called crazy ass keyway, I need a very narrow pick. This pick, a long time ago I made this pick for picking ASA Abloy D12 locks, or Roku call them Series 1200 locks. But it's a very useful pick for mini locks. And well, we have it into a false set, so either one or both of these are in the narrow part of the spool, or set all the way, I don't know yet. And these are hanging up on the small part of the narrow part of the pin. So we go in and look for counter rotation. If I can make the light work for me. And just pressing the pins here, and pin number 2 seems to have a little bit of counter rotation. So that's pin number 2 set, and I believe all we have to do is bump the pin number 6 and number 5 out of the way. Yep, there you go. Picked open, and now you can see the lock is stuck because the last pin has fallen into this hole, because there's no key in the keyway. And when you pick it and you see this happening, then there's no reason to panic. You can just take your, it has to be a small half diamond, because it'll fit right in there, in this groove here, and you can go find that little pin and push it out of the way. boom, locked again. So this is, as soon as you know what's going on with this lock, it's pretty easy to pick. Just getting it into its false set, which is there, and then find something counter rotating. There's nothing today, this time, and just bump the last 2 pins out of the way, and the lock is open. So like I said, as soon as you know what's going on, it's a pretty easy lock to pick. There's nothing to it really. It's and this is not a cheap lock. It's cost 841 kroner, amounts to $131. So it's quite an expensive lock, and I would classify it as super easy to pick. If you have if you know what's going on and you have a narrow pick, then it just flies right open. So well, I recommend buying something else if you're afraid of your neighbor picking your door lock. But ultimately, I don't know how much that matters, because people who want to break into your apartment normally don't pick your lock; they just kick the door in. So, but this is the Vitess, and thanks for watching.